this is a video request from, and I don't know how to say your name, so I'm just going to spell it, cieniolubek. This is a request for how to make a backyard circle and a few other things. So, some of the questions were, how do you pick a place for your circle? If you are fortunate enough to have enough space in your backyard to have a backyard circle, pick the place that is the best view for you as far as where you can see the moon if you're going to be using it for Sabbat. For me, if I'm standing in the middle of my circle, when the full moon is up, I can see her. She's usually around this area. That's why I picked this part right here in my yard. But as far as for anybody else, if you are fortunate enough to have yard space, to have an outside circle, whatever place feels right for you and whatever place you can see the moon when she's full, that's where I recommend that you use it. Or, well, you know, that you like have it. And as far as, you know, how I decided to sink the stones, I actually had just big boulder stones outlining my circle, and it was kind of difficult whenever we had to mow. We had to move the stones, and it was kind of a pain in the butt. So I mentioned to my husband that I would kind of like to sink the stones, and so I'll show you guys how to do that. My circle is 9 feet in diameter, and we went to Lowe's and we got the small stones, and I think the small stones were like 90 cents a piece. And these larger stones, I think, were like $1.20 a piece. And basically what we did was we took a string that was 9 feet, folded it in half, and then stuck it in the center, or stuck it where I wanted to, and just kind of drew a line around, kind of like when you do in math class. And then we took a piece of cardboard, okay, and drew the shape of the stone on it. And then with the outline, which we used fluorescent spray, we took the spot where we wanted the stone to go, and we did spray paint on it, and then we took a shovel, and then we cut out where that stone was, and we put some sand in the bottom so that it would stay level. And then we put the stone in, and then we put a little bit of sand around it. And then we did that for each stone. So you can make a template like this for the small stones and for the big stones. I have the big stones, I've got them marked. I've got 8 big stones. That's one for each Sabbat. And then there's 3 small stones in between the big stone just because I needed a spacer. So, or like stones to fill in that space. You use whatever stone shape or however many stones you want to put around the circle. Use whatever feels right for you or whatever you can afford. In all honesty, whenever I was thinking about doing this, I just wanted it to be as inexpensive as possible. So I was just going to put 4 marker stones, one for north, south, east, and west. But then my husband is like, oh, why don't you go ahead and do, you know, 8 of them for all the Sabbats. I'm like, oh, yay! So, yeah. And then, how to cleanse and bless the circle. Again, that's a very personal thing. I used cornmeal. I used a bunch of different herbs that me and my family use all the time. And I said a thank you to the goddess and God for giving me the space and area on my land to be able to have a circle. And then we also did some blessings with me and my boys. And again, that's very personal. It's your circle. You dedicate it and bless it however you see fit. If you choose to do an offering to the ground, because you are putting something back into the ground and you are taking up grass, which is a plant, it is a spirit. So you can do an offering if you'd like. It's very just dependent on what you feel is right. And then it asks, do I meditate in the circle as well as cast spells? And are things done in the circle better or more powerful? Yes, 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 and yes. Your circle is your sacred space. You can use it for whatever you see fit. I've used it to have just, you know, heart-to-heart chats with my kids. On some days where I'm just kind of like, ugh, and I need space in my circle, I need that little quiet time, I'll go in, I'll sit in the circle, and I'll open up sacred space, which is actually on one of my previous videos. And then I'll just sit and just be, you know, and just, if the sun is out, I'll just sit and ask the God to be with me and kind of calm me or give me the energy that I need, or the peace of mind that I need about something, if it's an issue that I'm struggling with or whatever. And same with, you know, sometimes at night I'll come out here and I'll sit in the circle, and or just at various times. I mean, I've come to the circle for so many different things. And once you have a circle of your own, if you're fortunate enough to have one, you'll find that you'll go to the circle for a lot of different things. So, let me see. I think that's about it. If you guys have, and then he asked, does my circle have a place of power in it that I've like determined and stuff? Typically when I do ritual, I stand in the middle, so I have buried a few stones in the middle of my circle that sort of enhance my practice. And again, that is very personal depending on what you want to use the circle for. So, if you have any other questions regarding my circle construction, again, it's a 9-foot circle. I put it on a place on my property where I could see the moon. We have a lot of trees here, so if I put it any farther in, I wouldn't be able to see the moon during the full moon cycle. And we sunk the stones with sand, and we used a template and spray paint and a shovel. So, and it actually didn't take very long. It took, shopping included, it took about 2 hours, so it didn't really take that long. But like I would, you know, highly recommend, even if you live in an apartment, go out onto the grounds of your apartment building, or, you know, like some local park, and find your sacred circle or your sacred space. It could be a grove of trees. It could be a couple stumps and a couple rocks. It just could be a sense of peace that you get when you're walking around that area. Find a sacred circle that you can use, even if you are in a apartment or a condo or someplace where you don't have land. There's so much land out there for all of us to use if we would just go out for little nature walks and whatnot. I know that Lady USA has this little stream next to her apartment building. That would be the perfect place to do ritual, because you have all the elements. You've got the element of water, you've got the element of earth. My timer is going off. But find your sacred space that you can go out into nature and connect with the elements, connect with the goddess and the god, connect with your spirit guides, your animal totems. Yay! So anyway, okay, yay, I did it in one take, woohoo! Okay, sorry. Usually it's like 20 takes, but anyway, because I end up going off on tangents. But blessed be, I hope you guys have found this information helpful, and subscribe and post your comments. Bye!